Entitled Mom demands my daughter's plushie mid-flight because her son is tired. My name's Emily. And this past weekend, I was flying from Chicago to Seattle with my 3-year-old daughter, Lily. It was her first ever flight, and I had been anxious about it for weeks. To help keep her calm, we brought her emotional support toy, a floppy-eared stuffed bunny named Bobo, which she's had since she was a baby. The moment we took off, Lily clutched Bobo like her life depended on it. She was clearly overwhelmed, her tiny hands gripping the armrests, her face buried in that bunny's fur, tears welling up in her eyes. My heart was breaking, but I was so proud of how brave she was being. About an hour into the flight, a little boy, maybe 5 or 6, sitting 2 rows in front of us, started crying and whining loudly. Totally understandable. But then, the woman next to him, I assume his mom, turned around, pointed at Lily's bunny and said, "He's exhausted and overstimulated. Could your daughter lend him her toy for a bit?" I was stunned. She wasn't asking politely. Her tone was impatient, like it was expected of us. I gently replied, "I'm sorry, but Bobo's her comfort toy. She needs him right now." She scoffed, literally scoffed, and muttered, "This is what's wrong with kids these days. No one teaches them to share anymore." I tried to ignore it, but then she leaned closer and whispered, not nearly as quietly as she thought, "Some people really shouldn't have kids if they can't raise them to be kind." That flipped a switch inside me. I turned to her, looked her right in the eye, and said clearly and firmly, loud enough for the surrounding rows to hear, "If your child is struggling, maybe bring something to soothe him instead of demanding comfort from a 3-year-old who's barely holding it together herself." People around us were dead silent for a moment. Then I heard someone quietly say, "Good for you," and another passenger gave me a nod. A flight attendant approached shortly after and, bless her, handed Lily some crayons and a sticker sheet, and then turned to the woman and said, "Ma'am, please stop disturbing other passengers. This isn't acceptable behavior." The entitled mom huffed and didn't say a word for the rest of the flight. Her son eventually quieted down, but I could still feel her eyes on us like we were the villains. Lily fell asleep about an hour later, curled up in her seat with Bobo tucked under her chin. I sat there, furious and shaken, but also oddly proud. Proud I stood up for my daughter. Proud I didn't let someone bully us just because we were an easy target. What would you have done in my place? Please, I need your advice in the comments.